All right, it is the morning after night one of Dead and Company playing at the Sphere, the residency at the Sphere. It's very cool, very exciting. As for a John Mayer gear nerd, you kind of don't know what to expect. With U2 and Fish, both of those artists, guitarists, Trey and The Edge, of course, they did not have amps on stage. So we are all kind of wondering what's going to happen with Dead and Company. And John, he likes to tweet things while he's on stage just in case. Well, we have some information now, and thank you for everyone that sent me messages and gave me leads. A very good friend of mine and I were talking, two of them, and we're just trying to dissect what's going on with this rig. And let me just kind of show off a little something. So a close source to everything sent me this profile on Instagram, and it is Angelica Diamond's profile. And I loaded all the photos into a public Google Photos album. So it's literally everything that I capture for John Mayer's gear is in this photo album that I make available for everyone. You can see that there's a ton of people that have already joined it. So if you have anything cool to add, go ahead. It's actually available. You could just upload things right to it. Just be warned, though, please keep it John Mayer relevant. Otherwise, I'll block you. Anyway, and I'll put the link in the description below. Here are the photos from Angelica, and this is a hot take. And something I have not done yet is these hot takes, more scripted sort of things. But we see right off the bat that the John Mayer Dead Spec is back for this tour, which is super exciting because I own a Dead Spec. It's sitting right alongside of me here. Wonderful guitar. I love it. I'm so happy that PRS did that. Nothing new here. This is a camera, so it's nothing, gear related. But what we do see is some grain. We do see that there's a sticker on the behind the trem bar there, which is a hardtail actually. Nothing too crazy. Again, we're just going through photos and giving a hot take of what kind of I see based on everything to date. Here's our first big shot. So there was a picture circulating, kind of fuzzy, about there are amps on stage. We don't know what they are. It looks like a Fender of sorts. So yeah, this is a Soldano SPACE BOX, and there's basically two rack unit Soldano reverb units that have been made. The one is the Surf Box that goes back in John's arsenal, back I believe to the Battle Studies tour, and it did come back out for Dead and Company in early 2018, and that's before he switched over to the triple deluxe reverb setup. So you can see the Surf Box here. He has used that in the past, again back in 2018, early 2018 with Dead and Company. So what do we know about the SPACE BOX is that it's a slightly different design internally. It's a little cheaper, they say, Soldano says, unit that's specific just for reverb, and overall it's been modeled kind of after the Fender rack unit or the standalone Fender reverb unit. So we do know that. I don't know what it sounds like. If anyone out there has one, to comment, let me know what you think about this box. It's super cool. I wouldn't mind buying one, but I haven't found any on Reverb before making this video because I'm sure everyone's just going to be clamoring to get one afterwards. I don't know where it's going and what amp is using it. My guess is either in the loop of the Santana owned, so here's the next piece of gear, Santana owned Dumble Overdrive Special. It's a 50 watter. We don't know what's on the inside. It could have been reworked by Dumble, but it is, I believe, a second gen chassis. But again, it could be modified on the inside. We do see a Fender amp. We don't know what it is at this point, but if we keep scrolling, we are going to learn that it's a Fender Twin Reverb, which, by the way, is what Jerry used. But Jerry used Silverface primarily and modified Silverface. So who really knows what this amp is? It's a Fender Twin Reverb. There are no mics on any of these speakers, so that means that they are being loaded in some way. I doubt they're being mic'd from behind. So this brings me to a point here, is I think I've seen John's rack unit have a load box, but I can't refine that right now. But it makes sense to me that these amps are being loaded by some sort of thing. We don't know what that is. But the point here I'm trying to make is that you need to simulate the speakers somehow. So I'm going to guess that maybe he has his sound engineers record each of these speaker boxes and create an impulse response. So that way, after you've loaded the guitar amplifier, the amplifier head goes into that load box, and then the output of that load box goes into, or at least traditionally, goes into the speaker cab, just to kind of have that playability. Maybe it's an aux box where it has like a pass through, or even the Boss weighs a tube amp expander, who knows. But you do have to create an impulse response from it. So I don't know. He has definitely the resources to get to my point. He has the resources to have some really awesome impulse responses built for each of these cabs exactly as they sound to him out on stage. So I'm going to guess that whatever load box also has the ability to do an impulse response or post-processing effects, something. Nothing crazy here. I don't know why he's playing the guitar like that. Again, you see the surf box, and then you do have the Twin Reverb logo here to confirm that it is a Twin Reverb black-faced. A comment was made that the jewel looks like it's square. It might be, or it might be an artifact of the photo. I don't know at this point. More John. Okay, so here's the third amp. On the far left, we think it's a Dumble Small Special, the same one that he played in Behind the Red Curtain on the 2023 tour with Dead & Company. It's basically a clean channel of a Dumble ODS. We don't know what era. We think it's a second gen sort of thing, but we know nothing about the guts of it at this point. But there is a cab again, and a Twin Reverb, and then of course the 1x12 on the Dumble ODS. We don't see again what speakers are in it. It's going to be different. All right, got some more photos, and here is another great shot from Angelica, and it is the PRS McCarty that was made around the same time as the Silver Sky. So I'm going to guess that the finish on this is the exact same color as the Silver Sky. You can see the headstock is a Silver Sky, or it's a matching headstock, which is super cool. Back when I saw John at the Xfinity Pavilion in Hartford, Connecticut, he played China Cat on this thing, and I swear, like, the whole place rumbled when he hit that first note. It was just so deep. He had like all of his reverbs on. It just echoed and just sounded so dang good with this guitar. So it holds a special place in my heart. Speaking with folks who were at the show last night, they say that John played 50% of this guitar and 50% of the Dead Spec. So I'm so happy that the Dead Spec is out there, partially because it's like a hometown guitar for me since I bought one. And I love that amp, or that guitar. Let's see if there's anything else. We do see curtains. They used to be red. I think aesthetically it makes sense that the top here is silver, and then they got the black on the bottom. It reminds me a lot of this ODS on the other side, where it's black on the bottom, silver on top. So I'm going to guess that that's what he's doing. More of symmetrical. John does have a keen eye for sort of aesthetics, and he's always kind of made adjustments for aesthetics. And the arrangement looks really cool, really sweet. We don't really know much about the pedal board at this point, unfortunately. It's just, you got the monitors in place. He's not wearing headphones, so I don't know. I think the mic'd amp situation, or unmic'd amps, is also possibly due to the directional speakers of the Sphere. I totally nerd out with technology. I would love to visit the Sphere, especially for these shows. But the Sphere has these directional speakers that makes every seat like kind of the best sounding seat in the house. How they do that, it's pretty cool. That's one of the marketing materials for the Sphere, by the way. I don't know if that interacts with the amps on stage or what, but it does come as a factor. The interesting thing, though, is you obviously have microphones on stage. So if there was a worry about the amps who have sort of their own, spectrum of what it can pick up with the directional microphones, I don't know what the reason would be to not mic these. So it is kind of an interesting thing. I don't know why this venue doesn't really embrace the microphones on the speakers. Again, we see another PRS photo and another PRS, the dead spec. And then here is actually a really good picture because you see the grain, which pretty much confirms, just based on what I remember here of the grain in this area meeting together, that it is the same exact guitar that John played in 2023. You have an Analysis Plus cable. So I have a new Analysis Plus cable as well. I reached out to customer support at Analysis Plus. I said, hey, give me the exact same cable that John has. And what they said for Dead & Company is, you see here, it is a Genesis Pure cable, but John opted for a different strain relief. It's just your traditional shrink wrap strain relief. I know for me personally, I don't care for this rubber strain relief. I think it's a little too stiff. But they do have a marketing photo here of it. You can see how far it goes. It sticks out before it starts to bend. I don't think there's too much of an advantage. So yeah, so I reached out to customer support. They built me a cable and shipped it the next day. It's pretty incredible customer service. I paid full price as well. So, so nothing there. All right, so we have some more photos. This is just a hot take. I don't think there's anything really new to report on here. We're reaching the end of our series of photos. And here's the surf box again that I threw in there. So if you have anything to add to this album, you can reach out to me and I'll add them myself. Or you can add your own photos by hitting add photos, and then you can add your own photos. Super cool stuff. But anyway, this is again hot take. I'm trying something new and I hope you enjoyed it.